Warning, this podcast contains themes of extreme violence and murder. Subject matter may be offensive to some listeners. Discretion advised.
Welcome to another episode of Evil Transgression, your homicide headquarters here in podcasting. I'm Josh, and with me as always, Dustin and Rex.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Yep.
Hey, I like how not even 5-10 seconds in, and you hear Dustin making noises on the table.
I didn't mean to. Sorry.
That's because Dustin's got dirty pants on today.
Yes, he does.
Whatever.
We had a iced cappuccino accident in the car on the way here, apparently.
Hey, but explain what he tried to do to get it out.
Tried to pick it up.
A liquid.
Not the cup. The pile of liquid that was on his shorts and throw it out the window. So he didn't just have ice cap on his shorts. He had it on his shorts and the window of the truck.
Well, see, I got an Oreo one, so it came with like whipped cream, and it landed upside down, the whipped cream, so it just stuck to my leg. So I tried to pick it up and chuck it, but it just went everywhere.
Oh, man. That was hilarious.
Didn't work for me.
So you was like, instead of it just being on me, let's put it all over the truck.
Probably still had the window up, too.
Yeah. my truck needs a bath now.
Yep, inside and out. Yeah. So if you know any good detailers, let Dustin know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody's week been going?
Great.
Better than mine.
Just working.
Yeah.
Just living the life.
We've had a hectic week at our house.
Yeah.
Father-in-law got a double lung transplant, so
That's crazy.
we've been dealing with that. He's doing good though.
That's good.
So I guess that's the good news. The silver lining in that.
So how long does he have to stay in the hospital?
It all depends on his progress, but I mean, he's looking good. He's getting stronger every day. So good.
They make him do like the breathing test where he blows or whatever. Like I don't know what you call
trumpet,
it.
The little
something
thing
like that.
You gotta blow and it's gotta stay.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's just working out. Basically working the muscles. But when they cut your sternum open and lift your ribs up like a trunk on a car,
right? Yeah, a little painful.
Yeah, you're gonna be pretty sore.
Yeah. Hopefully he never has to sneeze.
They make you cough.
Ooh.
Make you
work? Yeah, you got to work those lungs, like the mucus and stuff, and get all that stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that hurts.
Yeah.
No thanks.
You want to know what else hurts?
What?
The fact that we are now in October and the recording room's still not done.
It'll be done by Christmas.
One of these days we'll have our own studio. We've been saying that for how long? We've been on podcasting? A little over a year.
Year and a half.
Wow, it is a little over a year. Yeah, but we've been saying like from day one, like we're getting a studio.
Man, that's just
it's coming.
Go figure though. Like just the dumbest crap keeps happening down there. So eventually,
one of these days, the Studio REX will be
Studio REX.
That's fun.
Good times.
Who's this episode sponsored by today, Dustin?
Courtney,
our newest patron.
Thank you.
Got a couple new patrons. You got Courtney. We have 2 new VIPs.
We do.
VIP patrons, which is our dude Rob and the queen of should we
artistry?
We need to dub her something. Yeah, she's like the main artist of the evil mob.
Yeah.
Kiona. Our 2 VIPs that are on the VIP Patreon.
Yeah, thank you.
That's right.
Sweet. Everyone should be jealous and join it.
They should.
Hey, I want to give a shout out real quick to Josiah. This dude likes everything we post.
Oh, yeah.
Josiah's
yeah,
a good guy.
He is.
Yep, for sure.
Every single thing. He's a true He's
Evil
a true
mob.
Yeah, he's a true mobster.
True mobster. I like it.
So shout out to him.
You got any more shout outs?
Mm,
I want to shout out the guy that made that iced cappuccino for Dustin today. Because it gave me a good laugh when he got out of his truck and the whole front of his shorts were brown.
Dude, it looked like I went to like a dirty strip club and some girl
Who had
Grind
White
up on
Castles
you.
all night long the night before.
dude,
He was like, I had lunch at White Castles before I came.
my leg is so sticky right now. I'm gonna have to take these to my mom and have her clean them for me.
Oh, man.
There's no stain.
I can hear your dad when you show up with those dirty pair of shorts. Like, can you clean these? Jesus, Dustin.
you're still doing that?
Not again.
Oh, man.
We got a gentleman by the name of Carroll Edward Cole today. That's right. I said gentleman by the name of Carroll.
That's unique.
And it plays into the story. So,
Good deal.
because you guys are like, Carroll? Like,
Yeah.
everybody loves Carroll. And then you thought, Carl? Like, no, Carl never stays in the house on The Evil Dead. The Walking Dead.
Oh, man.
So, with that being said, you guys ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right, Evil Mob, buckle up as we discuss Carroll Edward Cole. Carroll Edward Cole was born May 9th, 1938 in Sioux City, Iowa, to parents Laverne and Vesta Cole. Some good 1938 names.
Oh, yeah.
Laverne and Vesta.
Rare.
Carroll was the second of 3 children in the Cole family. His younger sister was born in 1939, a year after Carroll, and the family moved to California where Carroll's father found work in a shipyard. Not long after relocating to California, Laverne, Carroll's father, was drafted and went to fight in World War II. This left Carroll and his siblings with their mother, Vesta. Vesta is a hoe. While her husband is off fighting Nazis, she had several affairs with other men.
What?
Oftentimes, she would take Carroll along with her to her cheek slappings
What?
and then would threaten to beat him if he told his father what she was doing.
Oh, man, that is insane.
Did you really just call it her cheek slap?
I like it.
Vesta was a real crappy mother. She was very physically and emotionally abusive to Carroll and often dressed him as a girl to parade him around in front of her friends, calling him her pretty little girl.
What?
Which is amazing to me because she has a daughter.
Yeah,
You have a daughter,
right.
so why would you dress your son up? I
Right.
mean, you named him Carroll.
Yeah.
Why would you dress him up like a girl and then, like, show him to your friends? Like, look what I did.
Mm.
This didn't make things easy for Carroll Cole in school either, as the other kids would often make fun of him.
Also, she made him dress that way for school?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but the name itself, they
Oh,
started
okay.
teasing him because he had a girly name.
Right.
I mean, you know how kids are.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
We're talking about 6, 7, 8
Yep.
years old.
Yep.
They're like, oh, his name is Carroll.
Mm.
I'm sure Dustin would do something like that. Like, you just seem like you was one of those kids. Like,
Yeah.
oh, look, here comes Carroll. But I mean, he's off to a rough start, and from the get go,
Oh, yeah.
it's like the Johnny Cash song, "Boy Named Sue,"
Mm-hmm.
where the dad names his son Sue just so he'd grow up tough because he
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
going to be around.
Yep.
He knew he was going to get picked on. That's basically what's going on here.
Yeah.
But his mom's the one that's doing like the most traumatic stuff to him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're coming with me so I can get smashed. Then when we get home, I'll put you in your sister's dress and show you to my friends.
Crazy.
That's devastating.
Yeah.
At 8 years old, Carroll had finally had enough of the teasing and fought back against one of his teammates, drowning him in a lake in Richmond, California,
Ooh.
after a group of boys gathered to swim and play. The boy had been making fun of Carroll earlier, calling him a girl,
Yeah.
so Carroll waited until the other boys left and he drowned him.
Like, drowned him dead?
Like, dead.
Mm.
Wow.
Took his life.
And at what age is this?
8.
Wow.
Now, the drowning was ruled accidental by authorities, But many years later, Cole would confess to it in a book that he wrote while he was in prison. So down the line, he basically admits to it. But
Gotcha.
yeah, he killed a kid and got away with it
Wow.
at 8 years old. So at 8 years old, finally had his first taste of murder, and that's probably never a good thing,
No.
especially for someone who had been mentally abused in his young life.
Right.
And you'll see that a lot of his evilness is going to come from how he felt towards his adulterous mother. So the mom has a huge key in this. When Carroll became a teenager, he was often in trouble with the law for petty crimes, often arrested for drunkenness and minor thefts. After high school, Carroll joined the U.S. Army. That stint didn't last long, as he was given a bad conduct discharge in 1958 for stealing pistols.
Ooh.
It's not who you want to steal pistols from,
No, not at all.
So dishonorable discharge.
pretty much, but it's called a bad conduct discharge.
And back then, it mattered.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't get jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't want to steal
No, you don't
from
steal.
the military.
No, you don't.
Right. Right.
Now it might get you like court-martialed,
Yeah.
shot. So even when Carroll tries to do something good with his life, he finds a way to screw it up. 2 years after being discharged from the service in 1960, Carroll Cole took a hammer and attacked two couples who had parked their cars on a lover's lane. After the attack, he called the police on himself
What?
and told them that he was plagued with violent fantasies that involve strangling women. Hence the mama issue.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Over the next 3 years, Carroll Cole would spend time in a couple different mental hospitals. So, we're going to the mental illness part of this. This should be a step in the right direction.
You
Right?
would think.
I mean, you're going to get help.
Right.
He called the police.
Well, yeah,
on
especially
himself.
caught him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he knows he has a problem.
Mm-hmm.
He was even diagnosed as a psychopath, and it seemed like every time they realized he was messed up, they released him.
How does that make any
Makes
sense?
In the last mental hospital he was in during that stretch, the Stockton State Hospital, he was seen by a Dr. Weiss. Now, Weiss met several times with Carroll Cole during his time in Stockton and wrote, quote, "He seems to be afraid of the female figure and cannot have intercourse with her first, but must kill her before he can do it."
What?
So why aren't we locking him up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
that's his
cool.
thoughts.
Lock him up for life in the institute, right?
Right.
You would think.
Nope. Dr. Weiss approved his release in April of 1963, even after the hospital staff had diagnosed Carroll Cole with antisocial personality disorder. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can't really keep somebody locked up just because they have a certain mental disorder.
Bro,
But when you know-
you write he's afraid of the female figure and can't have intercourse with her first, but must kill her before
Yeah,
he can do it.
that's a big red
That should be
flag.
like, hey, we got an issue here.
Yeah.
This dude's already attacked people and then called the cops on himself.
Right.
And then he tells us that, he can't have sexual intercourse without killing somebody
Yeah.
first. That would be enough for me to be like, hey,
Oh, yeah. Keep him in.
you're going to do great in this padded room.
yeah.
But no, the system fails. Just like many, many times before.
Right.
After he was released from the Stockton State Hospital, Carroll moved to Dallas, Texas to be with his brother Richard. While in Dallas, Carroll met an alcoholic stripper named Billy Whitworth that he would end up marrying.
So he's got a girl's name and she's got a boy's name.
Yeah,
I like
it's a
it.
match made in heaven.
Yeah, it is.
Billy and Carol are coming over.
Yeah. And you're like, hello, Bill. And he's like, my name's Carroll. Oh, oops. So where's the alcoholic stripper at? She's over there dancing on that swing set. Terrible.
Yes.
The marriage was fantastic and life-changing.
I doubt it.
Just kidding. It was a disaster and ended after 2 years in 1965 when Carroll Cole burned down a motel after believing that his wife, Billy Whitmore, would take men there to have sex.
Wow.
You don't see the issue with that. I'm pretty sure she's taking men to this hotel, so I want to light it on fire.
Maybe it was that hotel, that Best Western up in Toledo.
It should be, but it wasn't. Carroll Cole was arrested for arson and sent to prison for 2 years. After his release in 1967, Carroll traveled to Lake Ozark in Missouri. It's a good show.
Like the show. Yeah, I was going to say the show. Which the next season, I believe, comes out soon, right?
I hope. I've been waiting for.
I think they had a trailer of it recently.
With COVID, everything went haywire.
Right.
Good show. Not to go off course, but yeah.
It's a great show.
Definitely what it is, Lake Ozark.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what can go wrong at the Ozark?
True.
He was arrested again there and sentenced to 5 years after trying to strangle an 11-year-old girl. That's what can go wrong at the Ozark. Cole had picked her up at random. While she was sleeping, Carroll Cole had snuck inside her bedroom and tried to strangle her, but her screaming scared him off. He was soon apprehended and charged with attempted murder. He would end up serving 5 years in prison.
5 years for attempted murder?
Yeah. But I mean, you got to stack everything up. Like, to me, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I'll probably get blasted because it seems like anytime I say something about the system or about justice and stuff like that, we get like 10,000 messages about how we don't know nothing about the justice system, or you guys don't give criminals a chance, blah, blah, blah. But if you stack everything up like, hey, this guy has mental issues. He's attacked people because he's got a mental illness. You pile all that on where you've got doctors saying, yeah, he's messed up and he feels like he has to kill people in order to do this or that.
Yeah.
And then you put it on there where he broke into a house and tried to strangle an 11-year-old girl. They're like, that's attempted murder. You're going to do 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense to people. I understand it's like, you know, it's the 50s or whatever, the 40s. But did we just like evolve overnight, like in a couple decades time, where we're like, you know what? That was pretty stupid that we let this guy out for 5 years. After 5 years, after we knew he was mentally unable to socialize with people.
Well, I can't believe they did it back then. I could see it in today's generation, in today's society, how soft people are. Like, oh, give them 8 million chances, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't know why they did that.
I mean, I'm not saying putting to death.
No, but I mean, he should have got, attempted murder, 20 years, 15, 20 years.
Or put him in an institution where clearly he needs to be.
Yeah.
Right.
But hey, again, I'll probably get hate for it because I'm not a lawyer or I'm not the judge of a justice system.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents on it. So after serving his full 5 years, thank God he did at least serve his full term.
Yeah.
Carroll traveled to Nevada where he would attempt to strangle 2 more women he had met at bars. He failed both times and ended up checking himself back into a mental hospital. I mean, I guess, the silver lining here is that he knows he has a problem.
Yeah.
But it's the system, to me, that is failing him. And
without a doubt.
It will also end up failing his victims later on.
And that's also what they need to look at when it comes to trying him also, is he understands what he's doing.
Yeah.
So.
Right, but he also understands he has a problem. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not a psychiatrist and I'm not a brain doctor. I'm no Ben Carson.
Yeah.
Which that's probably different. This is a brain surgeon, but you get what I'm saying. It's not rocket surgery. It's like this guy knows he has a problem, and you're right. I see where you're coming from in terms of, well, if he knows he has to check himself into a mental hospital, then he knows what he's doing is wrong. But I don't know if it's like a split personality thing where, part of him saying, yeah, do this, and the other part of him's like, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
But regardless, to me, it feels like the system's failing him. So while he's in the mental hospital this time, he was again noted by the staff to have murderous fantasies. He was seen there by Dr. Felix Peebles, who again diagnosed him with antisocial personality, with alcoholism, and compulsion to strangle and rape women. Another doctor saying, hey, he has a compulsion to kill people.
Yeah.
So, what do we do?
Let him go.
Dr. Peebles felt Cole was highly intelligent and manipulative, but in the end, they still elected to let him go, and he was giving a bus ticket to San Diego.
Idiots.
So they're like, yeah, you can go. Just get the hell out of our town.
They're like, you're all screwed up mentally, and you got compulsion to kill people.
Yeah, let's set you free.
Here's your bus ticket to San Diego. We don't want you here in Texas.
Go mess with them.
On May 7th, 1971, Cole picked up a woman named Essie Buck in a tavern in San Diego.
Can I just say I like that name?
Essie Buck?
Essie Buck.
Mm-hmm.
Essie Buck. It's 71, though. It sounds like a 1930s name.
I know, but
It
like,
does.
dude, they had way cooler names back then.
Yeah.
Like, look at us. Just listen
Yeah,
up. Just say
like
your name. Like,
Josh.
Oh, Dustin.
My name's Josh.
Like, whatever.
Well, at least your name's not Carol.
True.
That'd be cool.
Think?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because I just call myself Carl.
They'd be like, no, it's Carol. Well, he picks up Essie Buck in a tavern in 1971, May 7th, strangled her to death in his car, and then he drove around with her body in the trunk
Wow.
for 2 days
What?
before he decided to dump the body.
Ugh.
Bet that was stanky.
Well, some stank.
Especially in California.
Carol, your car
yeah.
smells like butt. 2 weeks later, on May 23rd, he would kill another woman and bury her in a wooded area. Again, on May 30th, which was again 7 days later, 1971, Carroll would kill another woman by strangling her after having sex with her.
Wow.
Sounds like everything those doctors were saying was just so much awry.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like they were tired of dealing with him, so they, let him go and told him to leave. Just, we're not going to deal with you. We'll send you somewhere else. They can deal with you.
Like maybe they didn't have the answer for or a treatment for that, and they just didn't know what to do. And it was like, well, let's put him back in society. Eventually, he'll screw up enough, and we'll just kill him.
I blame them, though, for all these murders that are happening. You know?
Absolutely. Right. Carroll Cole claimed all three women were unfaithful to their husbands or boyfriends, and it reminded him of his mother.
Mom, yep.
So he dealt with it. In July of 1973, Cole married once again to a barmaid named Diana Paschal. Paschal was an alcoholic, and the two often fought. Whenever they fought, Carroll Cole would vanish for a few days. And it was during those times that Cole would commit murders before returning back home to Diana. Eventually, Carroll Cole and Diana Paschal would move to Las Vegas, Nevada. In 1975, Carroll Cole got a job transporting coins from the local airport to casinos in the area. He's like, the coins like in slot.
Oh, yeah.
Machines. Like he's like a change deliverer.
Change delivery.
Carroll got the bright idea to one day steal an entire shipment of the coins and take off for Wyoming. He left his wife, Diana Paschal, behind.
Seen that movie before. Masterminds. Remember? Lord Janice, he farted in my butthole.
In August of 1975, Carroll met a woman named Merlene Teepee Hammer.
Please tell me why her nickname is TP.
Yeah.
Well, she's from Wyoming.
What's that mean?
Probably a lot of teepees in Wyoming.
I need your best guess as to why her name is TP.
Hey,
My best guess, maybe she has a little bit of Indian in her.
I was going with whenever she's around you, she makes your pants look like TV. But whatever.
Yeah, it's possible. So he met her at a bar, and she left with Carroll with the intention to have sex with him. Carroll Cole would strangle Merlene and dump her body on a hillside. After her body was discovered, Carroll Cole fled back to Las Vegas. He's like, uh-oh, here comes trouble. So he takes off.
Mm-hmm.
The killings, however, did not stop there.
Of course not.
In the late spring of 1977, Carroll Cole picked up a local prostitute named Kathleen Bloom. He would strangle her as well and dump her in a backyard in Las Vegas. So once again, Cole ventured out of his own backyard later in that same year to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. He's like fleeing, like, uh-oh, they're going to catch on, so I'm leaving. He met another woman in a bar who took Carroll home with her. That's never a good thing. This is not the guy you want to have a one-night stand with.
No.
That's pretty sure. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
Cole woke up the next night to find he had done something terrible. The woman was dead in the bathtub. Her arms and legs had been removed.
What?
And were in the fridge, while other pieces of her were in a skillet on the stove.
Ew.
Oh, wow.
It was like her butt cheeks were in the skillet on the stove.
So now he's into cannibalism.
Well, he's like waking up like, uh-oh, what did I do?
Wow.
But yet again, Carroll Cole got away. And this guy is a freaking killing machine.
Yeah.
In August of 1979, Carroll Cole made his way back to San Diego. There he met Bonnie O'Neill at a bar. We have a pretty common theme here, if you haven't caught on yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the bars.
Yep.
Picking up the women at the bars.
Yep.
Yeah. After having sex with O'Neill, Carroll Cole strangled her to death and threw her body in a dumpster behind a building. Now, all the while, Carroll Cole remained married to Diana Paschal. He's still married while he's doing this. In September of 1979, Carroll was back home with Diana, living the dream. The couple had been married 6 years now, and apparently that was enough for him. He strangled Diana to death, wrapped her in a blanket, and stored her body in a closet of the home.
Wow.
Carroll Cole then started to dig her grave in the crawl space. 8 days after Cole had killed Diana Paschal, a neighbor noticed him digging what appeared to be a grave and alerted the authorities. So give it up for the neighbor who says, hey, there's a weird dude in his backyard over here digging a hole in his crawl space.
Yep, glad they saw that.
The police found Diana Paschal wrapped in the blanket in the closet. The end, right? Like you're busted now.
Oh, I'm sure there's more to it.
Nope. The authorities decided that Paschal had died from alcohol poisoning and released Cole from custody.
How is that?
How do you screw that up? She's dead and she's been strangled. It was probably alcohol.
Yeah.
Dude, those got to be the same cops.
From the prostitutes?
Yeah, it was doing coke.
Yeah.
Broke their neck.
Oh, coke one broke their neck.
It's got to be the same cops.
She strangled to death in a blanket in the closet. She probably died from alcohol poisoning.
Jesus.
They released him from custody. You had him.
Idiots.
So, you guys think that's probably bad. And I agree, but it's going to get worse.
Oh, man.
Carroll Cole, after nearly getting put away for life, decides to keep on keeping on. He would meet another woman at a bar in Las Vegas named Marie Cushman. That same year. This is the same year that you almost got busted.
Yeah.
He took Cushman to a hotel, had sex with her, and guess what? Strangled her to death. In December of 1979, Carroll Cole is going to get married yet again for the third time.
Wow.
To a coworker. While they're on their honeymoon, they actually get pulled over by the police for like a traffic offense, like speeding or something like that. When they run Carroll Cole's license, they find that he didn't have a valid one, and there were also warrants out for various parole violations. So for 7 years, Cole had racked up all of these other offenses like drunk driving and passing bad checks, different stuff.
Yeah.
Bail, jumping bail, just minor offenses, but still, it was enough to where they were like, hey, you're going to jail.
Good.
Carroll Cole would be incarcerated until October of 1980. So, a year. Almost, not even a full year.
Not even a year, yeah.
Upon his release, he traveled to Dallas, Texas. The following month, November of 1980, Cole would kill 3 more times.
Jeez.
The first of those killings was 32-year-old Wanda Faye Roberts, after picking her up at a bar before having sex with her and strangling her to death. At least he's consistent.
Yeah, it's like always the same scenario.
The second killing, an unknown victim, the police actually had Carroll Cole as a suspect. I mean, there's no surprise.
Uh-huh.
The third killing occurred on November 30th of 1980. 43-year-old Sally Thompson had invited Cole over to her house for sex. Her sons actually come to the house to visit, and when they knock on the door, a drunken Carroll Cole opened it, and he seemed to be very disoriented. The sons could smell the whiskey on him. And so the sons, basically make their way into the house and find their mother laying face down, naked from the waist down, on the couch. She was deceased. The authorities took Carroll Cole into custody for questioning.
Just questioning.
But guess what?
They probably let him go.
Detectives came to the conclusion that the woman had died of alcohol poisoning.
How does this happen again?
And Cole was released from custody. 2 deaths, 2 different places.
This is painful.
The same scenario. It must have been her alcohol drinking. Alcohol's the devil in the 80s. If you drink alcohol, you'll wake up naked from the waist down, strangled to death.
Unbelievable.
I mean, this is real life. This is real life here. Like,
yeah.
How can you botch something up like this?
It doesn't make any sense.
That is frustrating.
It wasn't until the following day, after releasing him, that a detective was looking into Carroll Cole, that he discovered his address was listed as a halfway house for convicted felons. That red flag made the authorities pick Cole back up for more questioning.
Oh, that was the red flag.
Yes, that's the. Oh, you're at. You staying with convicted criminals. We're gonna bring you back in to talk to you. He was picked up at his job at a Toys R Us warehouse, where a kid can be a kid.
I miss those.
This time, while in custody, Carroll Cole decided to come clean. He admitted to not only killing Sally Thompson, but to all of his killings, claiming that he had killed upwards of 35 women.
That is insane.
And you were going to let him go. Again. On April 9th of 1981, Carroll Cole was convicted of just 3 of the murders he had committed in Texas. He was sentenced to life in prison and transferred to Huntsville Prison in Huntsville, Texas. Carroll Cole remained in Huntsville until word that his mother had died in 1984. It was at this news that caused Carroll Cole to finally face the entire consequences of his crime. Cole agreed to be extradited to Nevada, where he would face more charges. In February of 1984, Carroll Cole was tried and convicted for the murders of 2 more women. In October of 1984, he was sentenced to death in Nevada. When the judge read the death sentence, Cole replied, quote, "Thank you, Judge."
Thanks, man.
Wow.
He's probably, I don't know. I mean, is there a part of him that's like, I'm a bad person and I deserve any punishment?
Maybe.
This is a guy that called the police on himself. It's also a guy that went to mental institutes like, look, there's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a guy that goes out and kills people and then he like runs away.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's all over the place. But then again, when people are dying of alcohol poisoning all around you, you probably are messing up. On December 6, 1985, Carroll Cole was led into the death chamber at Nevada State Prison and executed by lethal injection.
Nice.
He was 47 years old. His final meal, in case you were wondering, A good old tall salad with French dressing.
That's Dustin's favorite.
That's solid French.
Jumbo shrimp. French fries. And some Boston clam chowder.
Ooh. Man, I used to eat clam chowder all the time.
He also finished off what was left of 25 pounds of cookies and candy sent to him last week by a couple who were actually writing his biography, which was Mike and Judy Newton.
Huh.
That's a Las Vegas couple. Who was
Gotcha.
writing
25 pounds.
Yeah, that reminds me of Rex. Like, you know, Rex, like in his room at night, like will eat like 25 pounds of candy.
That's true. Yeah.
Wakes up with like candy stuck all over him, like sucker stuck to his forehead.
Hey, if you go to Sam's Club, you can get the huge cookie container where it have like four or five different types of cookies. I mean, it's really this big. I don't know how, what, 1.5 by 1.5 or something? Oh, so good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's why I just picture like this guy and Rex sitting and eating a bag of candy together. Like,
usually I'll do that, and then I'll have the Airheads to, you know, get a little bit of sour after the sweet.
the fact that your teeth aren't rotting out of your head is amazing to me.
I know.
If I eat like too much candy, I'll get one cavity. Like if I have like 2 pieces of candy, I'm like, I got a cavity. But yeah, 47 years old. That's how long you made it.
Wow.
I feel like
47 years old and 35 women.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good average.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he was way older than that.
Mentally, probably.
Yep.
In murder years, he probably was like 80.
You said murder years. Is that even a thing?
But how do you get caught not once but twice with dead women?
Yeah.
And they go, was probably because of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
The first one, he's digging a grave.
Right.
He's digging a grave, and she's wrapped in a blanket in the closet. And they're like, "It's probably."
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she was a heavy drinker.
That's normal.
Like, how do you screw that up? Granted, he'd already killed a bunch before her,
Right.
but he also killed a bunch after her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes back to the doctor.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, the doctors let him.
Yeah,
he's fine.
He has very murderous tendencies. Let's ship him to Dallas or San Diego.
San Diego.
Send him to California.
He gives off rapey vibes.
We'll send him with the hippies to California. I don't know. That's the story of Carroll Cole.
Crazy.
Ed Cole. They used to call him Ed. That was like his grown-up name. Call me Ed.
Okay.
Rex?
All right. If you haven't done so, go to our Facebook page and give us a like. Any comments, questions, ideas, you can email us at eviltransgression@gmail.com. Dustin.
You go to eviltransgression.com. Check out our links.
Yes.
You know, go check out our Patreon.
Check it out.
Leave us some comments. We need some comments on there, guys.
Yeah.
Y'all getting stale, like Josh's breath. So let's get it.
Okay.
You got anything, Josh?
Yeah, Josh, what do you got?
I might.
Let us know.
So I did get corrected, though. If you remember in a previous episode where we were talking about Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, he was in a couple cameos. I was totally corrected.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Tell us about it.
Well, Stacy, who Dustin, you know very well, let me know that we forgot off the rip. My Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Richie Rich.
Yep.
Page Master.
I never saw that one.
The Good Son.
Yeah.
And Uncle Buck.
Yeah. Oh, Uncle. Yeah, he was real young then. Oh, that's a classic. It's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did we forget about those? I mean, some of them were really good too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were.
The Good Son was a good one.
It was.
Yeah.
And I mean, Uncle Buck's
Uncle
a
Buck.
classic.
Right.
So I totally botched that one. I was like, yeah, Macaulay Culkin, he hasn't done anything. Dude's stupid now. His long hair. All he lives off of is Home Alone. I will say, though, out of all those, Home Alone's probably still my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I-
Richie Rich is pretty good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you say so. This is what I'll say. You say it's good. Okay. Other than that, that's all I got.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So our apologies to Macaulay Culkin. Because I know he listens.
Oh, yeah,
Macaulay
he does.
Culkin, a.k.a. Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is like the grown-up,
He looks
proper
like
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, yeah.
Macaulay Culkin.
It was like Macaulay. He's Macaulay Culkin that grew up and was like, I'm not going to Michael Jackson's house. I'm going to go to football practice instead.
He's Macaulay Culkin without meth.
Oh, nice.
Woof.
Ooh.
He took a shot at one of our heroes when we were kids. Everyone loved Kevin McAllister when we were kids.
Yep.
I remember as a kid, I wanted that talk boy so bad that he had.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I was like, I have got to have it. All it was a tape recorder.
Right, yeah.
But I had to have a talk boy. Like, I begged my mom and dad for it. Like, I have to have it. My dad was like, you don't need that. It's just a tape recorder. And I was like so devastated. Like, that's the one thing I wanted. All the way up until this point in my life, I can remember only really, really wanting one toy. Like,
You never got it?
never got it.
Oh,
You
so
know what I got
sad.
instead? My dad pulled out, he had an old tape recorder that he had like from Radio Shack. He's like, you want a damn talk boy? Here you go. I was like, but it's not handheld and it's not cool looking like the talk boy and you can't slow it down. He was like, just hold down the stop button a little bit, it'll slow it down. That was my talk boy.
Oh, that is awesome.
But it was a good lesson because as I grew up,
Yeah.
I learned that shit was just a talk boy, or it was just a tape recorder.
Yeah. Yep.
But I really wanted it. That's the one thing I can remember never getting that I really wanted.
So sad.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than that,
Yep.
that's all I got.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
So, until next week, Evil Mob.
See ya.
See ya.
Peace.